Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for True show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for True show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, and I welcome you back with us again. Many of you have been asking, how do I get the previous episodes? And so it's very simple. You go on YouTube, you click on A Time for True show, and click the subscribe button. We would love to have you as one of our subscribers. So let's get going with our show tonight. We have something that's really important because it has to do with mentoring, has to do with guiding. So many times in life, we don't have someone that we can count on. Or in times where we're trying to make decisions, it's great to be self-determined and be very confident, but at times all of us need someone to depend on, to counsel us, to bounce ideas off of. And tonight we have that person as our special guest. And Buddha, if you put up his pictures, I will introduce our special guest to our audience tonight, Mr. Lou Bernardi. A native Long Islander, there you go. Currently entering his 5th season as sports specialist for the United States Merchant Marine Academy. He's the baseball pitching coach and recruiting coordinator for the Mariners, and in his 12th season in college baseball as a coach. In 2021, the Mariners won the Skyline Conference title for the first time in program history. Congratulations, Lou. And they earned an automatic bid to the NCAA regional tournament. That same year, Mr. Bernardi was named the Collegiate Baseball Magazine National Pitching Coach of the Year. Prior to the Merchant Marine Academy, Lou's journey through college baseball brought him through Iona, Long Island University, Post, SUNY Old Westbury, and New York Tech. Some of his achievements along the way were earning Coaching Staff of the Year in 2012 at New York Tech, Coaching Staff of the Year at SUNY Old Westbury in 2014, Skyline Conference Champions at Old Westbury, and Coaching Staff of the Year at Iona in 2016. At Herrick's High School, Lou cleaned house. He was school baseball player, earning All-State, All-County, All-League, team MVPs his junior and senior years, and was Male Athlete of the Year in 2006. He was inducted in the Herrick's High School Hall of Fame. He was awarded the Power Inspiration Award, the Mark J. Paradiso Award, and Lou has mentored some of the nation's best baseball players during the summer months as head coach for the New York Atlantics of the Atlantic Collegiate Baseball League. the West Hampton Aviators of the Hampton Collegiate Baseball League, and the Thunder Bay Border Cats of the prestigious Northwoods League. Over 60 of Lou's former players have signed professional contracts. Lou's career in Division I at New York Tech and as a professional pitcher for the St. Louis George Roadrunners of the Golden League were part of his accomplishments. He's an active member in both the Association of Professional Ball Players of America and the American Baseball Coaches Association. He's past baseball committee chairman and member of the board of directors for the Major League Baseball Bob Feller Active Valor Foundation. This group connects military members and their family members to the game of baseball. Lou is the founder and president of Valor Sports, and we want a bit of warm welcome. Let's bring him up live on the screen and welcome Lou Bernardi to A Time for Truth show. Welcome, Lou.
Doc, thank you for having me, and thank you for that very, very warm introduction. I truly appreciate it.
Well, you're an amazing guy. I'm telling you, I mean, I think a lot of guys are envious of you for so many athletic accomplishments and your prowess. So let's get right to your show because you've done so much. So I want to ask you, when you were a young guy, what were your dreams and aspirations?
You know, I think growing up, any young athlete has the same mindset, vision, goal, and I always wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. And I would tell people, and they would say, oh, you know, you'll grow out that phase. But my dream was to always make my passion my work. And there's a great saying, Doc, and I know you say it a lot, that if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I sit here tonight with a smile on my face, and I normally do, as you know. I'm 35 years old, and knock on wood, I haven't worked a day in my life yet.
Well, that's a beautiful way of looking at life, you know, because one of the things I've learned is that life really, like you said, it's really a game. And, you know, I think in our society, we've lost some of that. What do you think, Lou?
I could not agree more. You know, the trend that we're going it is unfortunate, and it takes true leaders like yourself to influence some real positive change in our communities.
You know, we really need to, because we have so much. We have so many technological advances. We have so much that's available to us. Really, when you look at it, our food is provided, our heating, our lighting, the gasoline. I mean, we have everything, but we need the most important, what I feel that we're losing is humanity, you know, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show, you know, and you accomplished so many things in sports. I wanted to ask you, because I'm sure there's a lot of athletes out there who are going to learn from you. What do you feel were the keys to your success in athletics?
Yeah, so it's upbringing, and I'm a big believer in that. And I think having the support from both family and friends is extremely crucial at a young age when it comes to development and maturity. So I owe most, if not all, of my success on the playing field to my upbringing, to me being around certain situations that were favorable for me, and experiences growing up that made me the man I am today. And with that being said, and I know we'll get into it tonight, as proud as I am with my accomplishments on the field, professional player, New York State Baseball Hall of Fame, pitching coach of the year, award winners, record breakers. I am more proud of the work and I say we because it's not just me, it's all of us. I'm more proud of the work we have done as athletes in the community, using our platform to actually influence something good.
Absolutely. I think an athlete has a major role in society. To me, an athlete has tremendous ability to deal with pain, intensity, perseverance, qualities that are so important, and you're looked up to by the general public. So I couldn't agree with you more. I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you a question. In your upbringing, was your family like always involved with sports? Is that the history in your family?
Look, I mean, my family, they were supportive in me, and they knew that I had a passion. It wasn't a chore. It wasn't, hey, Wednesday night we have baseball practice. It wasn't get out of the house, get in the car. It was something I wanted to do. And they knew early on that this was something that meant a lot to me. And they had to make sacrifices as well. And that's why I always say, after a game or after a practice, two words that you don't hear very often in today's society is thank you. And a lot of times individuals, especially our youth, they have that certain sense of entitlement where they're forgetful that it's not just, the world doesn't just revolve around them. And, you and I have spoke about much larger issues where the things we learn in athletics can actually translate into impacting life as a whole. And you mentioned some adjectives, and I'm a big believer that you learn more about leadership on the playing field that you ever will learn in a classroom. You learn more about accountability than on the playing field that you'll ever learn in a meeting or in a corporate structure. You'll learn how to deal with failure more in an athletic setting than you ever will in a community setting. So the things that I've learned and encountered and persevered from has truly prepared me for anything that life can throw in my way. And in 2015, one of my players suffered a horrific tragedy, horrific tragedy, where there was life was lost. And I published an article, and I don't want to get off topic, but the name of the article was when life throws you a curveball, sometimes baseball can be the best medicine. And that could be replaced with football, soccer, hockey, basketball. The challenges in life, the decisions sometimes we make that affect our well-being in life. Sometimes the best medicine is competition, is athletics.
I couldn't agree with you more, because it really brings you into the effort that needs to be exerted. And, I feel in life, you've got to be willing to exert effort. They look at the famous artists of the world, and you look at what Michelangelo did with painting the Sistine Chapel. That was no easy feat, having to paint the tremendous breadth of a ceiling. And people look at it like he was just there, like he, painted in a few minutes. But no, you're absolutely right. All the great artists and also athletes, leaders, it doesn't just happen out of luck or right circumstance. They put a lot of effort out. So I couldn't agree with you more. So now I want to ask you, because it was a great honor, how does it feel to you, to be inducted into the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame?
It's a good question, and I've had the opportunity and the privilege to answer that question in a number of different settings and platforms. And just recently, I was honored at the Nassau County Legislature in front of a joint session with all the Nassau County legislators. And I'm going to and I didn't know you were going to ask me this question, but it's still fresh in my mind. I'm going to say exactly what I said in front of those legislators and elected officials, and I'll say the same thing tonight to you and your audience. In the beginning, selfishly, I was like, "This is awesome. This is great. This is tremendous. All my hard work, all my accolades. I did this. I did this," and then I realized that it actually has nothing to do with me, because it's for the greater good of the game. It's the contributions to the game. And if I took this achievement and said it's all about me, then I'm actually doing the institution an injustice. And I called out those members of the legislature that day. I said, if you all are just going to walk around and say, I'm a legislator, look at me, then you're actually in office for the wrong reason. So if I am going to represent the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame in a way that it deserves to be represented, it's not about me. It's about the work that we do together to help the game of baseball for generations to come. So if I let the title get to my head, if I let my ego get the best of me, if I don't continue to do the work that I'm doing, promoting the game, giving kids opportunities, educating the underprivileged, then actually me being in the Hall of Fame is actually a waste. So to me, it's a challenge. And the challenge is to continue to do more. Because if I do less, then it's just a feather in my cap that at the end of the day means absolutely nothing. So what's the point of even having it? So for me, it's a challenge. And I take that and I take the challenge very seriously, because now I have, and like you alluded to earlier in the show, now I have a platform to speak on avenues like your show and in other scenarios, podcasts, TV shows, interviews, what have it be. Now I have a voice, and now I have a seat at the table where I can now say things that mean a lot to me, like making sure kids do the right thing. And now I have a voice and a platform to do so. So in the beginning, to answer your question, to bring it back around, the Hall of Fame is great, but it's only as great as I can make it, and it's only as great as if I continue to use my platform to actually promote some good.
Very, very well stated, because I found the same thing as I've gone on in my field of dentistry and drug education. And I've seen that really as I go on, a lot of people depend on you. And like you said, and they look to you for leadership, for support, for, effort. Sometimes people think, well, now you made it, so now you don't have to do anything more. But one of the things that, you're saying, which is so true, you actually have more now because you're counted on for so much more. And like you said, you changed so many things. So that leads me to my question with you as a coach. Because as a coach, that's what you're doing. And you've been so successful with so many of your players going on. So what are the points that you concentrate on when you're coaching, your players?
It varies. Obviously, we're trying to develop leaders off the field, but we're also very cognizant about player development on the field with the hope and expectation of creating winning programs. So there is a fine line when you define success. Is success strictly based on wins and losses, or is success based on the impact one has on someone's life? And, we could probably talk about this for hours and hours. And I think there is definitely a middle ground. I have been judged on wins and losses, but personally, what makes me satisfied and proud of my work is to see my players graduate, to see my players become lawyers, to see my players get married, to see my players become police officers and military servicemen and officers. To me, that is a level of success that it's almost like I'm a family member, and I'm rooting for my cousin or my brother or my son to do well.
Very, very, very true. I want to ask you a question. I'm very curious. How did you pick the name Valor Sports?
Good question. So, what does the word valor mean, essentially? And to me, valor is the epitome of giving back. To me, valor is, when somebody describes you, I want them to say that. Like, for me, it's, wow, that guy, man, he was valor. He gave back. He cared. He was passionate about something. He knew that there was something greater than just winning a game. And it's a legacy. To me, if somebody can give you that adjective of saying he had great valor, then to me he's going to leave a great legacy. And why do we do any of these things we're doing? I've been fortunate enough now to have a chance to speak with you on and offline. I sat at a conference at the UN. You're not just doing that because it's cool to say you're at the UN or doing press conferences or TV shows. You're doing it because your valor in your mind this is your legacy that you're leaving on forever. And if you can impact one person along the way, then you're doing your job.
It's very true. Each one of us, and I don't know how much we look at this, but it takes time, and it's a point to bring out on the show, which you're alluding to, is each one of us can change the future. And sometimes we shortchange or say, nah, what can I do? I'm just one person. But you're so right. And, I like how you pick Valor Sports, because you can really change what's going to happen. And, your legacy is something that will help future generations. So, what is, I'm curious, within Valor Sports, what are your goals or mission statements?
Yeah, so it's actually very simple. It's creating leadership opportunities by giving individuals in various communities an opportunity to play, for this conversation, the game of baseball. But it could be anything. It could be basketball. It could be football. It's giving kids an opportunity and putting them on a track for success. It's very simple. It's very simple. We've done amazing work teaming up with various organizations. I don't want to get ahead, but I'm excited about our partnership in the near future, where we'll educate our young athletes, many of which are inner city kids who can't afford gloves and tend to make not the brightest decisions. And we're giving these kids now opportunities. We're giving these kids educational platforms. One thing that we do that I love, that no one has been able to do, is we've handed out close to 10,000 pieces of equipment. Free gloves, free helmets, free batting gloves, free bats, free cleats, even pairs of baseball pants and socks, Doc. We're able to, through generous donations and I'm not going to say funding, because we haven't really asked for anything yet, and I don't think we're going to. But through very generous donations, we've been able to acquire some amazing things to give these kids. And when they take that glove home, it reminds them of how great their day was. having a lunch, meeting a ball player, 2-3 hours of fun baseball instruction, and it inspires them to do it again. And it inspires them to make the right decisions on and off the field to maybe one day being that big leaguer. And that's why it's so important for like-minded individuals to get together to better the good of our future.
Absolutely. You know, as you were talking, there's something that I wanted to let our viewers know, because the other day I spoke at a Dominican cultural event, and the Dominican Council was there. Council Jaquez is his name. And we were talking about their new president. That's a really dedicated man, President Abinader of Dominican Republic. And, you know, as we were speaking, I told them that with drug-free world education, that we want to bring sports. And one of the things I wanted to let you know is that obviously one of the things that we could do is maybe bring, you know, an American team down there and play one of their teams as an event for drug education, and you know, have some rivalry, competition, and you know, get people to watch, and then, you know, really get people's attention, and then give light to something that's destroying so many young people's lives and causing so much violence in our societies as drugs. All this drug ravage. What do you think of that idea?
I think it's a great idea, and I'm looking forward to, I'm sure, several roundtable conversations, preferably over dinner, figuring out how to make that concept a reality in the very near future.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? As we're doing this show, to those of you who are going to be watching this, because I think probably Lou is going to give this show for you to watch, and I'm probably going to give it to other people to watch, is that let's take a look at how we can work together. You know, there are things that we have to do because we are required to do them. But let's take a look at something like this and realize how much fun this will be, how much good that we can create, and as Lou Bernardi said, how we can leave a legacy and, you know, feel good about ourselves. So we hope that you can join Lou and I and others and the government of the Dominican Republic, and there'll be other opportunities, probably in Honduras. And so, Lou, you know, we've run out of time. And, you know, the time flew by because I guess we just had too good a time.
It did. And I'll say with this, just to piggyback off what you had just said, it's amazing. And you don't see this enough. You really don't. And I don't like to get political, but, you know, everybody has their own side. Everyone takes their own stance. But it truly is amazing what like-minded people can do with a common goal and mission. It truly is amazing. And I think we've created a team here that get along, that have the right intentions in mind. And I do think we can do some really special things for a lot of people that truly deserve it.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, we have to end the show tonight. But as my Cuban parents would say, and is said in the Latin culture, together we can do it. Juntos podemos. And for those of you watching, join Lou Bernardi and I. Let's do this. Let's bring sports. Let's bring education against drugs. And let's make a happy drug-free world. Have a very good night. Thank you, Mr. Bernardi.
Thank you, Doc, and then we'll talk very soon.
This show was sponsored by A Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. at your feet.